We are going to call to order this meeting of the Harwich Board of Health on November 18th, 2025. Anybody, as required by law, the town may audio or video record this meeting. Any person intending to either audio or video record this open session is required to inform the chair. Anybody recording anything? Anybody online? No? Everybody that's here has signed in?
Yep.
Thank you very much. All right. I know you're going to have your own chance, Patrick, so, I mean, is there any other public comments from the three people that are here? No? All right, then. Minutes of previous meeting from October 21st.
I don't,
It wasn't in what was emailed out. No.
They are not complete.
Okay.
I don't think they were in the packet either.
Stephanie was supposed to remove
That's,
that
I was
from.
wondering where that was. So we're going to move past accepting minutes, and do we need to motion to move that to next month? Or do we just, since it's not ready, do we?
Yeah,
move
I mean,
past
there
it?
was nothing in the packet to vote on, so you can, if you want to play it safe and move it to continue,
All right.
but I think we should be okay.
I can make a motion, right? I move to continue the minutes to next month's meeting.
Second.
Vote.
Aye.
Done. New business. All right. 12C Way, variance request. So applicant is proposing to raise and rebuild a five-bedroom dwelling utilizing the existing septic system. Septic system is a 1,500-gallon septic tank, 1,000-gallon pump chamber, and 54 by 14-foot pipe and stone leaching facility.
Hello, Susan Ledoux from Eastward Companies.
Hello.
Here with David Clark.
David Clark.
David, I'm going to just go over my cover letter, if that's okay with you. Okay. We're here on behalf of Donald and Elizabeth Larson, the owners of 12 Seaway, seeking the variance from the Board of Health. And 12 Seaway is a 14,947 square foot lot with 254 feet of frontage on Pine Lane and Seaway in West Harwich. This lot includes an existing five-bedroom single-family dwelling, which was constructed in 1966 with building additions made in 2006. The Title V septic system was installed in 2004, along with driveway, hardscape, and lawn and landscaping contained on this lot. We're proposing, as you said from your legal ad, to demolish the existing home, build a new five-bedroom home, and maintain the existing septic system on the lot. The septic inspection was conducted in late May of 2025, and the health department found that minor repairs are necessary. All covers and inspection port must be brought up to 6 inches of finished grade, and this repair work will be completed when the construction on the new house is nearing completion. The septic inspection report and health department notice are included in the package that we submitted. Because of the existing floodplain contour present in the rear yard, the new home will be constructed as close to Pine Lane as the zoning bylaw setbacks will allow. And the existing lot and home are pre-existing non-conforming, so a special permit was requested from and granted by the Zoning Board of Appeals in September of this year to demolish the existing house and construct the proposed home while maintaining the non-conforming building setback from Seaway. Because the proposed garage foundation would be less than the required 10 feet from the existing soil absorption system, we looked at altering the system to remove the northerly 10 feet closest to the proposed garage foundation to meet the required 10-foot setback and adding 10 feet to the southern end. However, the attached 2004 site and septic plan that you have designed the system to be exactly 5 feet above groundwater. So there's no opportunity to expand it this way. Also, 2003 test holes indicated that the existing soils dredge material in this site are unsuitable and would require an extensive overdig, which would be very destructive to the southern end of the soil absorption system and the fire pit patio area the Larsons would like to maintain. Therefore, the attached site and septic plan proposes to maintain the existing septic system with no disturbance to this area of the site and construction of the proposed home with the garage foundation 8 feet from the northern end of the existing soil absorption system rather than the required 10-foot setback. The detail on the attached plan, and I'll let David get into this more, so I'll skip this, but we are requesting 2 variances. Title 5, 310 CMR 15211 minimum setback distance to allow the cellar or crawl space wall setback to be 8 feet from the soil absorption system, and then Harwich Regulation 1.2103, if needed, for that same setback variance. And we feel this proposal and requested variances can be approved by the Board of Health and be implemented without any negative impact to the subject site, the existing septic system, abutting properties, or any environmental resources. And I'll turn it over to David now to talk about the detail and what's proposed. Thank you.
Quick question, David, do you happen to have a copy of the floor plan with you? The floor
I
plans.
did not bring them with me.
Sue, are you able to share one?
I don't.
Because the floor plans I had are cut off, and I had a 4-bedroom with the office and the future office in the basement as the 5th bedroom. So just trying to figure out where the 5th bedroom
Here.
is.
No, I don't believe. Let me take a look at that.
This is the,
My copy is all cut off.
that's the future office
I don't have,
/ bedroom.
Do you have the other floor plan, like the other, the whole? When I looked at it, I found it all worked. Thank you.
No, well, just to answer the question, I can try to email this to you, Carrie. I don't think I can share.
That's okay. I think when I was reviewing the floor plans, I was having trouble viewing them, so I only counted 4 bedrooms.
There's one on the first floor. There's a bedroom on the first floor, and there are 4 on the second floor. And none in the basement
Okay,
level.
that's got the 5-foot cased opening. Okay.
It's basically unfinished.
yes, it's cut off.
So I would just ask that the board disregard my memo saying that it's going from 5 bedrooms to 4 bedrooms because it's remaining 5 bedrooms. That was my only note there.
So then what is going on, there is a cased opening?
Yeah, in the
that
basement.
Downstairs office space? Okay.
All right, so the existing floor plan has 5 bedrooms.
Correct.
The new one is going to have 4 bedrooms?
5 bedrooms.
5 bedrooms?
One downstairs and 4 up top.
All
One on the
right,
first floor, 4 in the second.
Yep,
The question is the office in the basement.
correct. And it has the 5-foot cased opening, so.
okay, so, but the way this was worded, it says dining, 5 bathrooms.
So that's what I'm asking you to disregard. When she was presenting, she said it was maintaining a 5-bedroom, but when I reviewed the floor plans, I didn't see the 5th bedroom because my plans were,
Okay. All right, so then we have the office and the garage, and then it said, and then a future basement consisting of a rec room, office, and bathroom. So is there going to be 2 offices?
so there's going to be, again, my floor
Mine's
plan's
cut off,
chopped up.
too.
Yeah. Oh, you have the same issue that I'm having.
Yeah.
So if you look at Kevin's floor plan, he has,
The office is in the foundation, the basement plan. It's over there next, but there is like a 5-foot cased opening right here.
Yeah, all right. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
there are no walls proposed because it's unfinished at this time.
So-
We just put that on for future reference,
There.
but we would come back, for a permit to finish the basement in the future.
I didn't know if you had added it in an intent to get it all approved tonight without having to return.
Okay,
Thanks.
it was shown on the plan, yeah, I, right now, I don't believe that they intend, because it is unfinished.
Because it could be approved tonight as future if that's the floor plan, and then if it changes, you could come back.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that would be fine with us then. Otherwise, I'm looking at the, yeah, there are no others. We have the den, the living room. No, I don't see another office on my plans. I think that was just the future office in the basement level.
All right, so we've got 5 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. And then we have, the way this then says, office, garage, and future finished basement consisting of rec room, office, and,
Right. So I think one of the bedrooms had an office off of it, but it was connected.
Sorry, yes, the primary bedroom upstairs, yes.
Yes,
There's a pocket door and yes, it's a very small office.
but it's
It
connected
has a
to the bedroom.
Yes, connected to the primary bedroom.
right.
Sir, would you sign in, please? Thank you.
So I was just trying to correct the error that I had noted that it was going to go to a 4-bedroom, but it's staying a 5-bedroom. So I just wanted you to be aware of that correction.
So so they're going to add an office then, that doesn't exist now?
Correct.
Just one?
Potentially in the future. So there's the office that is being added to one of the bedrooms, and then there's the potential future finishing that's adding another office.
In a 6-bedroom, a bathroom.
5-bedroom.
No,
5
6
bath,
bathroom.
5 bath.
Well, then, because it says,
Now, but they put, the office downstairs would potentially be a 6th.
I think we might have added that.
Okay.
oh, because it says 5
Correct me if I'm
bathrooms, and then
wrong.
when it says consisting, the basement consisting of a rec room, office, and bathroom. So is that bathroom down there and the rec room?
For future.
Yeah.
All right. So is the septic
So
system,
there's no bathroom downstairs?
so the septic system
Designed for 5.
for 5?
Yep. And they're proposing 5.
And that bathroom downstairs will be a 6th bathroom.
Correct,
Okay.
from what I'm hearing.
Yep. According to the plans. So, I mean, and I'll give you a chance to see, but my biggest concern with that would be the same thing with that office downstairs. I mean, I don't
And the rec room?
particularly like future office, because who knows what it's gonna, come back as. I want to make sure that that's gonna remain a cased opening if there's any plans for
Well,
that.
if there's any deviation from that proposed future, then it would come back in front of the board.
Okay.
Because it does say a rec room could easily become a bedroom.
Again, I don't have the full
See,
floor
well, see, well, that- well,
plan
because
in
they
front of me,
say-
so I can't.
And future finished
So
basement.
if the board is more comfortable, you can approve the first floor and the second floor and ask that any future
I
basement
would
come
be
back.
more comfortable
Okay.
with that.
Yes, I think so.
I would be more comfortable with that.
Is there an increase in square footage or in height from the existing building?
I don't have an answer to that question. Let me just check the plans. and see if I can-
I think your site plan shows that, David, that, yeah, the house is going up 4.5 feet, I believe. Is that what you're showing? I'm sorry, 3.5 feet, David?
I don't have the complete site plan. I just was
Yeah.
photocopied just the section with the septic system on it.
Okay. Yeah, the existing house, I think you have that at 25 feet, 5 inches, and the proposed house is 29 feet.
Her future office is big.
Sounds good to me. I don't have the information.
No, I
for it.
just was curious.
Wow. David, let's give you a chance to speak.
Yeah, I'm here.
What you got?
Well, so, as Susan said, this is gone, when we were planning the project, we were asked if they could get 2 more feet on the garage. And I said, the only way you can do that is if we adjust the existing leach field, the leaching bed, by taking 10 feet off the north end and adding it to the south end. And so that looked good on paper, so we went forward with Conservation and Zoning Board of Appeals and got those approval, Zoning Board of Appeals approval. And so when it was going through the departmental review, it was picked up by the health agent that the distal end of the leach field was right at 5 feet above groundwater. So at a 0.5% pitch in the pipe, we couldn't go 10 feet to the south. And so we looked at other solutions, and it all the solutions involved basically replacing the system in its entirety. And then we looked at the soils. The original system required an 11-foot overdig, 11 feet deep. So there's dredge material on the property and unsuitable soils under that before you got down to the clean sand that's required for a septic system. So in excavating for a new system, we would lose the fire pit and the patio that's on the property, and that's one of the, the applicants bought the house the way it is, but that is the one thing that they built themselves for their enjoyment, and they really don't want to lose it. So there's the economics in such a large overdig on the property. I can't see a way that they could dig down 11 feet to do that removal and not lose that patio. And normally I wouldn't suggest asking for a variance. And so looking at it, Title V does require a 10-foot setback to a slab, any kind of slab, whether it's living space or a garage. In this case, we're asking for the variance from a garage. And so then I looked at what's the public health consideration in granting a 2-foot variance. So one, it's a slab. Two, we have a bed system, so Title V gives you no credit for sidewall leaching. So in theory, a bed system is designed and permitted for only vertical infiltration, no sidewall infiltration. So to mitigate the request, the 8 feet or the 2-foot variance request, when the frost wall for the garage is poured, before it's backfilled, we will apply a 40 mil vinyl flow barrier as an added precaution, and that would basically achieve the same thing as a 10-foot separation in that the system is already lower, the stone and the distribution pipe is already lower than the slab elevation. Well, it will be lower than the proposed slab elevation. So the effluent will be going down, and if for some reason it wants to go horizontal, we have the flow barrier as added protection to the foundation. And typically, a garage frost wall foundation wouldn't have damp proofing like the tarring a foundation for water protection, because it's not living space and it's not a controlled environment. But this would be an added protection with the flow barrier. So I think what we're proposing is equivalent to full compliance with Title V and the local regulations.
Any questions from anybody from the public here regarding this issue? Any questions from the board?
You mentioned that when I looked at the system, there was a fault with it. What did you correct the fault with the septic system? How does that work?
I think it was all the repairs have to do with access for inspection purposes.
So they've been re-inspected?
It will,
I think was it in May that it failed?
It failed based on those repairs, and the report says the repairs are going to be done during the construction.
Yeah, and it didn't
And-
fail.
and-
It's
and-
called minor repairs necessary, so the issues with the system were very minor.
Yeah, it's
And
gonna
I
be
had a
afterward.
conversation with Sue about waiting until the building permit to make the corrections. But
Yeah.
the intent is there to,
Yeah, so those repairs will be inspected prior to the issuance of an occupancy permit. of the
All
garage.
right, yeah.
How old is the system that's in there now? How old is it?
It's 21 years, I believe. It's 2004, I think, is the date of the plan. Is
Yeah.
that correct, Susan?
It is.
20.
Any other questions, comments from the board?
The only thing is, I would feel that that furnished, future furnished basement, I could,
This basement is between the future rec room and the future exercise room and the future office, there's too many questions to approve this basement as it is right now. I would want to see anything for definitive plans for the basement coming back to us before anything gets approved.
Yeah.
I got no problem with the variance, the 10 to 8 feet, but I would not approve this basement as a future basement the way it's set up now.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
Susan's okay with it?
Yes, we're fine with that. It will remain unfinished right now.
Works for me.
Thank you. All right.
Anybody else?
Any other discussion, comments? From either of you as well, Susan, David?
No.
Nothing?
All set.
Okay. Do I have a motion from the board? I think we are going to kind of use a variation of option 2,
Yeah.
approving it, but instead of it is restricted to 5 bedrooms, and instead of with the future office in the basement, we'll have it say with basement plans to be brought before the board
Yeah.
before being finished. But essentially, option 2.
Yeah.
Option 2.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion. Do you want me to read the whole thing?
Please.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the variance at 12 Seaway with the following conditions. The property is restricted to a maximum of 5 bedrooms, and the future office, no, hold on, is restricted to 5 bedrooms.
I think you can just pause there and then move right into no increase.
Yeah, no increase in habitable space or square footage without further review of the Board of Health, with the exception,
That's where you could stop. Just
Yeah.
period there.
yeah, all right. No exceptions, okay. This approval letter conditions must be recorded with the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds. And I'm going to add the fourth, for the finished basement that needs to come back to the board before any further.
That would be coming up with no habitable space.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Just to,
We'll
just
include it
to,
in there to be
That's it's like,
specific.
okay, we got to skip that, all right.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Vote?
Aye.
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 Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.
You too, Susan. Thank you.
All right. Oh,
All right. Patrick? You're up.
I'm no stranger. You all know me, and you know the reason why I'm here. But let me introduce two attendees, Diane Pressman, she's online, and Susan Sear, members of the Harwich Pond Coalition. All right, so
the what? I'm sorry, but the,
Harwich Pond Coalition.
oh, pond, okay.
Pond, yes. So, with similar interests. So why am I here before the Board of Health? Well, obviously, health. Your health, my health, kids' health, nature and environment. What we do affects our health. So why do we live here? The blue seasonal economy and our sandy soil. It's all endangered by our actions. Ponds, lakes, estuaries, woodlands. Nature long ago established a harmony. However, what we do in and our own private lots affects everyone and our nature. So, you know, this is now 4 years that I brought before town meeting the two home rule petitions to ask the state legislature to give Harwich rights for reducing both fertilizers and pesticides. If you have specific questions on either one of those articles after 4 years of going through it, I'm happy to answer. What's going on now, let me give you an update. So for the pesticide home rule petitions, Truro, Wellfleet, Eastham, and Orleans have passed it. For the fertilizer home rule petition, Nantucket, Orleans, Wellfleet, and I believe Yarmouth. It was on Yarmouth's town meeting, but I don't have the results. If you were aware, last month, before the Joint Committee on Environment and Natural Resources had a public hearing on the pesticides. There were, I forgot the number. I want to say 27 petitions that the Joint Committee was reviewing to give a recommendation to the state legislature as to whether or not to act on it. So part of that review was the petitions from both Wellfleet and Orleans, the pesticides. So the process is that town meeting okays the ask of the select board to ask the state legislature to give home rule petition. To have that happen, it goes before the review committee, the Joint Committee on Environment and Natural Resources, which then make their recommendation, which then goes to the state legislature. Right now, there's no update. I just talked with Michael Herman from Orleans. He said that there's no report back from the Joint Committee as to their decision on all those petitions that were submitted for their review. And it was a bulky, the meeting went on 4.5 hours, 105 people spoke, and it ranged from pesticides, fertilizers, nicotine, nicoids, how do you pronounce it?
Yeah.
I'll just say it, neonics, right? So, why? Because what we put on our property affects the environment. So, specifically, pesticides are number one of poison. That's the number one thing. And pesticides include herbicides, fungicides, insecticides, and rodenticides. And you've all heard the tracking verbiage now that is before Audubon, and the effect of rodenticides, second generation poisoning of our raptors, whether it's a fox, whether it's a possum, whether it's an eagle or a hawk. It's important, it happens. So way beyond just the immediate location where they're dropped. For fertilizers, let's not continue this effort to make everything perfect. Again, I fall back on that nature long ago established the harmony of how plants and animals work. We don't need to interfere with that. So the fertilizer pesticide reduction simply says commercial growers are excluded. Homeowners can use fertilizers on their gardens, growing fruits, growing vegetables, and using organic fertilizers as approved by the regulations. Okay. Are there questions on that? I mean, that's pretty simple and basic. If it feels as if we need to exclude, exempt golf courses, okay, that can be added, But we need to move forward and start protecting our environment. What's the result of having fertilizers? 90% of our estuaries are endangered, 60% of our ponds are endangered. We have cyanobacteria blooms, we have beach closures, we have shellfish closures. That's because of us, okay? And we need to limit our behavior. So, in terms of pesticides, I'd like to turn to the handout that's available outside your office that says, how do you protect yourself, right? From mosquitoes, from ticks, It doesn't say call up the nearest landscaper, pest control officer and spray your yard. It says protect yourself. Apply repellents to yourself, wear the proper clothing. The specifics for the pesticide reduction specifically says no more outdoor use. There are exceptions, of course, but either use it on yourself or within your home if there's a problem. Okay? Why am I here? Again, I think this is still an important issue to continue to pursue. How can we do this? Public awareness is number one. How do we get the public engaged? Instead of having Leo Cancunas up there saying, you can't do that, and won't let Girl Scouts talk, how do we get the public involved? And that's probably where I'd be asking for your help. Statistically, there's 11,000 residents, homes in Harwich. What percent of those are year-round residents? Only 45% are year-round residents. The other 55%, what are they doing? Call up the landscaper, call up the pest control, spray my yard, make it green, you know?
When was that data, the 45%?
I just heard that last night at the select board meeting. So 11,000 residents and 45%.
I just wonder how updated that is, because...
No, yeah.
Yeah.
45% are year-round residents. So, I mean, that's an odd balance, okay? So how do we get the word out? What role does the Board of Health want to play? Can you endorse again yet another submission of the same fertilizer reduction and pesticide reductions? Do you yourselves want to take it to town meeting and get the attention that it needs? Or another possibility, can we just start with town property? Can the Board of Health just simply say, town of Harwich property, let's stop the fertilizers and pesticides? For a point of view, let me give you this. I spoke with Rick Travers, the Monomoy Regional School District Facilities Director, and I asked him, how much of your property do you have and how is it cared for? And this is quote, we do not use fertilizers or any products whatsoever on our grass, strictly irrigation and sun. So already we have an example of Monomoy School District doing the right thing. Okay? Can the town of Harwich also do the right thing? So I'm here really to listen. You've heard from me.
All right.
I'm here to listen so that we can
All right.
perhaps move forward.
Can I speak? All right, I have a question. All right, now, you talked about Monomoy. They did it on their own, all right? And we have 11,000 residents. Now, let me ask you something. We have a policy that falls within the guidelines for the state. If the majority of the people, whether it be Harwich or the whole Cape, decided, I don't like using fertilizer, let's just stick to fertilizer first. There's no law that says they have to. This is an individual person issue. If they really feel that it's a problem and they don't want to use fertilizer, they don't have to use it. If we turn around and make regulations, who's going to police it? Are we going to agree to hire somebody to go around and look at people's lawns and say, you must be using fertilizer, we're going to fine you, all right? Or are you going to rely on their neighbors to say, hey, my neighbor's using fertilizer? What I'm saying is, it's not attainable. If the people don't want to use fertilizer, they don't have to. So basically, we're saying that most of the people want to, or it wouldn't be an issue. And I don't see any way to get around that. Now, like you said, Monomoy at the school, they said we're not doing it. That is great. I don't have an issue with that. They decided on their own to do that, and that's what I think people need to do. Now, we talk about education, and I agree with that 100%. We had,
Soil health and
Right.
pest management. It wasn't specifically fertilizer or pesticides because it was an alternative education for
And
use, and we're
how many
happy
showed
to
up?
duplicate that again this coming spring season.
But how many showed up?
Nobody showed up.
All right, so what I'm getting at is, I think, I have to commend you to be persistent, I really do.
Or stupid, I don't know which
No,
one it is.
persistent, because I don't necessarily think it's wrong. I'm just saying, I don't know how we would do this. If the people themselves are saying, hey, I don't like using the fertilizer, if they don't feel that way, there's going to be no way you can stop it. Now, you can say, all right, if we had the regulations, they couldn't go down to, not Ace, to Agway and buy it. You can cross the line into another state and buy it. You could probably order it off of Amazon and get it and put it down yourself. So what I'm saying is that I think it's admirable, but I don't see any way of really having it work, whether they call it home rule or not, if we were allowed to do that. We have no way of policing that, all right? And just to make clear, with the fertilizer, the nitrogen affects the estuaries.
Right.
The phosphorus affects the ponds. And some people get that mixed up, all right? Nitrogen isn't a problem in the ponds, it's the phosphorus, all right? I'm not going to name the area that I was in, and you drive around and you look at the lawns, and every one of those lawns looks like green velvet, all right? Obviously, those people don't care. How do you make them care? How do you make them come to a presentation that explains to them? And if they really were interested in saying, you know what, I don't like using the fertilizer, I wonder what my alternative is, most people can get on the internet and come up with it. So for as much as I think it's admirable, I don't think, even if we made it a regulation, which we don't have right now because we can't, there's no way to enforce it. So it's like, why have a regulation if you can't enforce it? Education is where it's going to be at.
Right.
How do you make the people come to it? I don't have an answer for that. I don't. Now, I'm going to move on just real quick to the pesticides, and I think you know where I stand on that. Having a medical background, all right, I've seen too many people come in with too many diseases, and some that are long-lasting and life-lasting from ticks or other types of things that can be picked up with pesticides, all right? Yes, I agree, you can put promethium on your clothes, all right? My husband does that, and it's a lot of work. You gotta roll it up, stick it in there, let it soak, and hang it out to dry, and it's only good for 4 washings, all right? I've been there, I've done it. Can you imagine doing that for a family of 2 or 3 kids? How often you'd have to wash their clothes? How often you'd have to be soaking it in there? Most of the people aren't going to want to put that stuff on their skin, or on a baby skin around the face or the eyes. So that becomes a problem. That becomes a problem. So I'm for the pesticides, all right? All right, so we say, all right, maybe just around town, all right? We walked out our backyard, and maybe from here to that wall, all right? And my husband and my brother-in-law were there. And they walked back, there's a little bit of a woods back there. They weren't back there very long, just enough to show them what was back there. They had 3 ticks on them when they came back. All right, I don't like that. My husband's been treated twice for Lyme's disease. We have a friend, 2, that have long-term effects of Lyme disease because it's not easy to detect. Less than 40% are going to show the bullseye. It's probably a lot less than that. Most of the time they get like a flu-like syndrome. What happened with the one person real quick was they were on prednisone when they went to have the test and it came up negative. So they said, no, you don't have it, and they didn't treat him. Guess what? He did. Right now, that man he doesn't do anything but sit in the chair. So I'm sorry, for me, I'm for the pesticides. The fertilizer, I can maybe agree with you, but I don't think it's attainable. But that's just where, we listened to you, so I thought they could listen to me. Anybody else?
That's good. That's good.
No, and I think I would agree with what you said, Sharon. I live in the Bells Neck area, and the ticks are a massive problem. That being said, I know we were just here last week talking about 606 and, the runoff into the estuary there. And that's, the consideration there is septic. There's, people have to relieve themselves, there has to be septic systems, we have to manage that as best we can.
Not to interrupt you, but they did have one of the things about the
Just
percentage.
hold up. Let me
Yeah.
finish first. Because you did interrupt me.
Oh, sorry.
I fully admire this, Patrick, and the being able to enforce it would be a giant question mark. I hear that loud and clear. But I also, I feel as the board here, and I know there's not going to be any one great answer or solution. We tried to educate people, nobody showed up. We know any solution or any part of a solution is a drop in a bucket at this point. But I also feel we need to start striving towards putting some drops in the bucket. And I believe, if I'm, reading this right, that there's no regulations. This is a petition to request the state for us to be able to put in our own regulations. So this isn't we're not regulating anything now. This is requesting the state for the ability to do our own regulations. What we do can be a whole nother discussion, but I feel that asking the state for the ability to do so is absolutely appropriate.
Now, what I was going to say was, when it comes to the nitrogen, and I don't remember the numbers, it's been too long since I looked at the CWMP when they did that study. Most of the nitrogen, I'm going to say, could have been like 80, 90%.
80%.
80%, I was going to say 80 or 90, is coming from the septic systems.
Okay.
All right? It's not coming from the fertilizer. What I'm saying is, so
Fertilizer.
why don't the people have more of an interest in, let's have the sewering system through the whole town, like Chatham's going to do. That would take care of the nitrogen.
$0.5 billion.
All right.
Fertilizers, you don't buy it, it's free.
Yeah. What I'm saying is if they're really that, what I'm saying is I think it's going to be hard to control that. If they really are concerned, why aren't we out there and saying, hey, let's septic system, let's put a septic system in the whole town.
And I think we should.
I think we
I'm paying
should
for
too.
that, but I'm nowhere near any place that's going to get hooked up.
No, I'm not either. I'm not either, and I wish I
would
were.
love to see that ultimately.
Yes,
That's
so would I. Because
not
at
a
some
discussion
point,
we're gonna- yeah.
we have to have the septic system pumped every couple of years. At some point, you're going to have it replaced. All right? So we've got money going in there too. So I just as soon have it all done. I would rather fight for that than to control the fertilizer, because I think that could be done. If the town was all sewered, we could eliminate most of the nitrogen.
That's like the 40-year plan.
Yes,
I
yes.
won't be here.
I won't either, trust me.
And even what we have now, I believe was what schedule we were talking about that area. It's set to be sewered in what, 2040?
Yeah.
Well,
Was it?
Harwich
So-
Board.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Just for that as an example.
Yeah.
So, I would love to see the entire town sewered.
Yeah.
That's not a discussion we're going to have tonight. But, working on fertilizers, I think it's worth asking for permission. And then if we get permission, it would allow us to have that discussion. Right now, it's like having that discussion is almost pointless if we can't affect it.
We
So-
do have a policy. And guess what? If all the people that are here, that are listening, really were concerned, they could follow that policy, and guess what? We wouldn't have the nitrogen problem.
Yeah.
But obviously, they're not
Well-
that interested.
And that's That's the problem.
Yes,
Is that
there's the
people-
problem.
Most people, Patrick here excluded, don't care.
Yes,
And a lot of them, you know, until it's something much larger, like 606, and then people come and they show up. But the problem is, we do education and nobody shows up. So that's a waste of our time and resources to even bother setting that up if nobody's going to be there for it.
so now if we have the laws, let's say they give us those, the home rule, and we come up with laws or regulations, how are we going to police it?
That's very difficult and.
No, it's impossible.
just-
Well,
It's impossible.
Let me comment. What about stop signs? Is there a video camera? Is there a police officer by every single stop sign in the town?
No.
How is that enforced? How are they ever going to enforce stop signs?
How many stop signs are
So-
tickets, but what I'm saying, yeah.
Or when cigarettes?
Everyone,
or-
nobody stops at them.
You know, or cigarettes, when that, no more smoking indoors. How long did that take to get into effect without resistance? And how is that policed?
But those are people sitting right there.
Pesticides too. My neighbor's spraying pesticides and I'm choking. So
Yeah.
don't minimize the effect of pesticides on your health.
No, that's where we're going to differ.
So tonight, are you looking for a letter from the Board of Health to go to the Select Board to request home rule law? Because would it have to go through the Select Board, or does it have to go to town meeting?
It would go to town meeting. What you can do is, when this is brought up again as a warrant article on town meeting, that it's been endorsed by the Board of Health.
So you're looking for a letter of endorsement to bring to town meeting that,
Yeah.
from the Board of Health?
Or can the Board of Health itself bring the article to town meeting? Or, as I suggested earlier, can you sort of set an example for town property and say, we're no longer using fertilizers, we're no longer using pesticides? And that becomes a talking point as well. Because, again, this discussion that we're having today is valid, but what did Truro, Wellfleet, Eastham, Orleans, Nantucket, and Yarmouth all have to say? Because they've already done this, right? It's before the state legislature to act. So these are valid concerns, but already we have the Outer Cape saying yes to both of these.
And then when they get them, then what are they going to do with it?
Again, I equate it to the stop signs. You know,
Well-
most people will say, okay, I got it. Oh, I didn't understand, I didn't know.
We, like I said, we have a policy for it, if they looked online. And we talked about that policy, when we developed that, there was a lot of discussion about that. It wasn't like it was done in the dark. So the people really wanted to look at that. They came in, we had a lot of people here for that. That was not with this. I don't think it was, yeah, it would have been, with the board.
Well, I believe we had the same discussion, like, when,
It's like about 2 years ago.
yeah, I was gonna say, and didn't we at that time?
Oh, not two.
Yeah,
Because it was a state regulation.
because we went solely by the state regulations.
So
and-
you enacted a regulation, fertilizer regulation, and it got rescinded because
Right.
we did not have home rule law. And then Patrick came after to request the support of home rule law after we implemented our policy, and the board voted to not move forward with home rule law at that
Yeah.
time. So what Patrick is asking tonight is either the board ask for an article to be created for town meeting, or for a letter of endorsement if an article is placed for home rule law on town meeting.
Well, you know, we're gonna do education and nobody's gonna show up. Well, we know people show up to town meeting. Is it the whole town? Absolutely not. But we know people are gonna be there. I, for one, would very much support this at least being brought up at town meeting and see what the rest of the town and the public has to say.
And I'm just saying, if they really believed in it, they wouldn't be using the fertilizer, but that's okay. So, yeah,
But how many people aren't smoking today because of the
Well,
regulation.
that's a different kind of.
That doesn't, to me, is not
But it's
oranges and oranges.
When I'm saying, okay,
Go ahead, yes, sir.
education is the only way we're going to solve this. I think if you were serious about this, that you would be writing an article in the Chronicle every week, or somebody like you writing an article in the Chronicle explaining your position and why. And I think this is what would people would get people's attention. And I think that's the only way we're going to start solving this problem, okay? Because when you go, last time, 2 years ago, we had a bunch of landscapers in here going crazy, okay? And I really think we have to educate people, the reason why you want to do it, okay? What are all this kind of stuff. That's the only way we're going to solve this thing.
Yeah, and if you look back through back issues of the Chronicle, you actually have endorsement of the Chronicle saying, pass these 2 articles. So it's been in the paper.
Yeah, but you've got to do it weekly. It's like,
Yeah.
you can't just do it once. You've got to
Maybe I
do
can ask the Board of Health to help. What would the letter be if it was signed by you, Board of Health, rather than just, oh, Patrick again? So I'm looking
So-
for assistance as well.
A couple of years ago, when all the landscapers were in here, having at it, yelling and screaming, I mentioned specifically at that time that the request wasn't for us to make any changes. The request was, do we ask for the ability to make changes? And then I specifically said, when we get that permission, the changes would need to be made with the input from all those landscapers and those people that are in this business. I have a very good friend of mine who's a landscaper, and there are many options they can use that don't have nitrogen in them. He came to me when that last discussion was up, and we spoke a little bit, just on the side. And I think I would love at some point to at least be able to have an open discussion regarding that with their input. I think there's more we can do.
We could still do that. We can be more stringent than what the state regulates, so we don't need the home rule to do that.
I think we do need
Yes,
the
you do.
home
But we
rule
do
to
need
do
the
that.
home rule,
Yeah.
so we need to ask
Because you
the
can't
state for
create
permission first.
regulations to make it more stringent.
We
if
tried that,
without the
and then we
home
got
rule
shut
law.
down.
But our policy could be, it wouldn't be a regulation, but we could make the policy stronger.
I think the selectmen
It would
shut
have
us
to be a
down.
regulation to be stronger,
Yeah.
because a policy is just a policy. It's not something that's enforceable.
Yeah, I agree.
And
Right, exactly.
despite not having anybody show up for our education series, we're not giving up on that channel either. So it's something that we will continue to pursue with trying to educate our community on better uses of other alternatives.
And any future discussions on what would be done, I would not want to make any decisions without the input from local landscapers and anything. I would want them to be a part of that discussion, and a major part of that discussion. But, and we could request permission and get shut down. But I think requesting permission at least is a great place to start.
Would you be willing to hold sessions like that and work with myself and others interested in restricting fertilizers and pesticides? And maybe it's not written as it's been submitted. Maybe there's additional points that need to be added. Again,
If this request is requesting that we support
Home rule.
the town requesting the ability for home rule. It doesn't mean that's going to happen, but he's asking that we push this to town meeting, or request it of town meeting. And
I guess we'd have to go to the board first? Select board?
All town meeting articles we're asking, the town administrator is asking for placeholders soon. So if the board wants to move to put an article on, we have to do it
yeah, December 20th.
soon. Yeah. If the board wants to just write a letter of endorsement, if an article gets on by citizens petition, you have that avenue too. So whichever,
Okay, so we could request that home rule, like yes or no, be automatically put on the
Like
town meeting
article be
and
created,
on the
yep.
agenda. Or we can request that the select board put it on the agenda. Is that
Even-
essentially what's?
Even if we do that, the board, I think, still has to agree to it on the warrant.
The select board does not have to support it, no.
so
A
we,
citizen
No, but they have
petition-
to support, they vote whether or not that particular article goes on the warrant. Not if it's a,
Citizens petition is on,
yeah, all right.
and then each board will vote support, finance votes support, select board.
So
votes.
we could put this on the town meeting.
we could
Or vote as-
request it. I
but
think
as-
if we request it, I don't think it's guaranteed to be put on, but if Patrick does a citizens petition, the citizens petitions have to go on,
Yeah.
and then the board could write a letter of support for that petition.
Could we do both?
I can ask if it's something that we can do. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna, if it's a citizens petition already, if they would,
I haven't filed yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
so.
I mean, I for one, I would like to see this at least be brought to select board, if not to the select board, to be put to a vote to the town. And again, this isn't to actually change anything except for requesting the ability to make change.
I'm just a little unclear about the endorsement from the board. I'm just a little unclear.
I think what Patrick is saying is that he's going to bring it up. You intend to bring it up to the town based on citizens petition anyway, correct?
Well, we'll see how it goes, yeah. That's,
And you are requesting a letter of support from the Board of Health?
right.
Essentially an endorsement.
Yes.
And/or the Board of Health, file yourself the petition to ask for a home rule petition. Yeah.
And that's what we don't know that they would have
But
to
if
accept.
we request that, they don't even have to accept it. But if he does, they got to put it on, right?
So I can find out the details. I haven't put an article like this in front of the administration, so can find out details. The board can vote tonight to move forward with supporting an article.
Is it for fertilizer and pesticides?
It's for home rule law, so it's just the ability to be able to
Okay.
create regulations in
And
the
we
future.
could eventually, ultimately choose to regulate one or the other, neither, both.
Okay.
It's just asking for permission for us to be able to regulate it above and beyond what the state already regulates. It doesn't mean that we would actually change anything as of right now.
I think
Just
the
requesting the-
problem, I think the problem is that once it goes to the legislature, they have to act on every word. So it has to be written out explicitly, precisely what the regulation will be. I don't think it can be open-ended.
Yeah.
Can you give us permission to regulate later on, once we figure out what we're doing?
Yeah.
So
What's
I
the
may be
background of that,
in
incorrect.
Carrie?
requesting home rule law, there has to be a specific regulation to accompany it. We can't just ask for the ability to enact regulations later on.
Let's get an answer to that question.
Okay.
My
Because that
understanding,
I'm not, okay, I would want to have all the input from all those landscapers and everything first. I'm okay with requesting permission to change it in the future, if that's the case. But if we need to have what the changes would be in
I believe
place
that's true.
to request it, I would not want to do that, certainly not at this time.
no, I was told that once this goes and is approved by the legislature, it stands as written. You can't say, oh, take out section.
Oh, I see.
So modifications to a regulation, once it's enacted, are a little bit more challenging.
Right, but why can't a bylaw be amended by town? I don't know. Okay.
Right. But that's
So this
not
might,
going to happen by December.
yeah, this might be a future discussion, that if you want to continue these discussions with Patrick, it might be something that we look forward to next town meeting. If we're looking to solidify a regulation that has to go up to the state first.
Yeah, if we need to have the regulation in place and then say, okay, state, we're requesting home law, and here's what we're requesting, these regulations, I would vote no tonight, because I want to have the full, lengthy discussion with landscapers involved and the people involved that, you know, it's not just landscapers, their livelihood depends on it. Not fair to make any changes without their input. So I would say no if that's the case. But if we can just request, how exactly does that work, Gary? Is that, if it's, I'm willing to continue this discussion, but
Yeah,
if we're.
I think that's the census, is
Okay.
if you're voting no tonight to support moving forward for this town meeting, but want to continue discussions to look forward to next town meeting,
Definitely.
that would be how that, and we can get those questions answered prior to
Yeah, town administrator should be able to
Fair
answer.
enough, yeah.
how that process works and what exactly needs to be presented for home rule law to go into effect.
It would be
And-
nice to have Monomoy, someone from Monomoy come in and just kind of educate us a little bit, but what their process was and how it's successful. It'd be kind of nice.
Now, I know when we were here last time, Mr. Birch got up and spoke very strongly, and then, who was it from Cranberry Valley?
Yeah,
Sean
Sean.
Fernandez.
Sean.
Yep.
You know, I would not move forward with anything. Those are just the two, you know, prominent names that I recall. But yeah, I would want to have a discussion with everybody first to, because I know I have discussed with other, like I said, friends of mine who are landscapers, and there are options. I think we can do better than what we're doing now. I don't feel, however, requesting something now that needs to be in writing now is appropriate.
Okay.
I support the effort.
Yeah.
I don't, but I don't think we have enough to submit something in stone right now. I would want to have that discussion with
Okay.
local businesses
And
first.
I'm going to ask for your help to get those discussions. I
Okay.
can't do that on my own. Patrick, who? Yeah. Let me ask, is there any comment by,
Can I say something?
why don't you come up to the microphone?
And just introduce yourself.
Susan Sear, Harwich Ponds Coalition. I actually have an email into the select board. I'm waiting to hear back from them. I will follow up with them after this meeting. We knew Patrick was on the agenda. We have actually made the pitch to have a select board sponsored task force, for lack of a better discussion, where we'd have someone from the Board of Health, the gentleman that you mentioned, landscapers, cranberry farmers, those of us passionate about these topics, to get sort of that cross-functional group in a room, talk through everything. Probably, we'd love to come up with something in time for town meeting. Don't know that that's possible. But we got to get the discussions going. To your points, education is key. I'd love to find out what your soil management thing was that nobody showed up to. 'Cause
And we
I'll
would
be
love to
honest,
host it again, so if we can get any,
I'd love to get stuff like that, like in front of the garden club. They've got over 100 members. In front of the newcomers, they've got, like, those, I think we need to go to the people. It's hard to
Yes.
come to these meetings, dinner time, everyone's got stuff going on. The garden club, they had Kristen Enders from APCC, and there's a woman down the street from me who has a beautiful green lawn, and I could see her just like, oh, wow. Like, I just don't think people know. I think
That's the
yeah.
point.
I think
That was-
if you can change one
Yeah.
person's
Yeah.
perspective through education,
Yeah.
and they can change somebody's perspective through what they've learned, I think that's a win. I think when we first offered the soil nutrient and pest management, we definitely didn't have a social media presence. We're getting stronger with that. We're making relationships with people who can help spread the word for us. So we have our garden program, which we're trying to build a lot of education through with, you know, how to grow your vegetables in a manner that's going to help protect the environment, as well as how to grow them where they actually grow and produce for you. So we're trying to build a lot more education around these topics. We're going to be looking at, in the spring, hosting a garden expo too. We're going to be bringing all of these people in to bring them around our garden and try to get like-minded people to talk about, gardening and one-stop shop for people who enjoy environmentally friendly alternatives to things. So trying to build a lot of that. So we're not giving up on education,
I would love to
even
continue
regardless
to
of.
strive for it,
and
yeah. I
we
mean,
would love
that's-
your help in
Yeah, and I'll follow up
trying
with the
to
select
capture the
board, but
crowds.
if you can kind of push from your end, I'd love to sort of just get a group sponsored. And we can do it on our own. We don't need to go through the select board. I just thought it'd be, and talking through with the Pond Coalition, we thought it would be helpful to have the select board
And
sort of
the Board of
approve-
Health.
And right, but I think the select board, I think if we can get through them and they agree that with all the town, working with Amy, working with you, I think we've done that relationship well, that it's getting the recognition of the select board that this is a townwide issue, that we need to get the right people in the room and discuss it.
I agree.
So action steps are, let's review, because we've covered a lot. One idea was the Board of Health asked if they can submit a open-ended request for home rule to be developed with discussion, with group.
Sounds like that's not an option though, right?
Well,
We're going to find out.
Open it, okay.
okay,
And if that is a potential, we can maybe get you back
yes,
at our next meeting for this topic again. If it's not, then we move forward, I think, with setting up proposed draft model home rule regulations that we can get everybody in to discuss and
Yes.
amend, to see if the board is comfortable with sending what everybody can agree on up to the state for home rule petition.
and again, I still fall back on, Truro, Wellfleet, Eastham, Orleans have already done this step forward, and they do have the home rule petitions in on both fertilizers and pesticides. So it is in motion on the Cape. So good. All right. So no need for a vote or a motion. We're all
Yeah,
set in
there's no
terms
need
of-
for any vote or anything tonight, but you'll ask about the open-ended versus if we need to have what we're requesting
Solidified
set.
regulations
Yeah.
that can't be amended easily, yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause we can get open-ended where we say, okay, we have the permission, and then we can start the discussions, great. But if not, there's a lot of discussions that need to happen first.
Yeah.
All right?
Wonderful.
Thank
Thank you so much for your time, and once again, entertaining me. All right.
Like I said, you're very persistent. And that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. All right, what else do we have?
All right, and we have the 2026 Board of Health meeting schedule.
Yes. What have I done?
One thing I
Oh,
didn't
there it
print
is.
up. There it is.
Yeah.
So our couple of early meetings in the year that are Thursdays, just based on holiday schedule and people, other boards that have already claimed those calendar dates for the Wednesday meetings. Generally, we look for the Tuesday meeting date, but if there's a Monday holiday, we get bumped to Wednesday. And I think those couple of Wednesdays, we got bumped to Thursday already. But other than that, they all, and then one Wednesday date, the rest of them are Tuesdays.
We're going to have a meeting in December?
Depends on if anybody files.
I won't, if you do, I won't be able to, I won't be here for that.
Okay, and I don't think Sharon will be here.
And I
either.
probably won't either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if we don't have a quorum, if there's anybody else who is unable to attend.
Which specific dates are those?
The one coming up, December 16th.
Oh, okay.
This is for this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My only concern right now with this, I mean, I currently, and one of them would be back, I think, by February. I have some fairly strong work commitments right now. I have a couple people on leave. I'm closing on Thursday, so I'm not out of work until 6:30. So I don't know if am I allowed to get here late and have you spearhead the start of the meeting? Or do I have to be here right at the beginning and through the whole thing?
Start the meeting- Can we start the meeting later on?
Yeah, I think if we have a quorum,
Yeah.
you can, somebody, or the vice chair can start the meeting.
Yeah.
Start it, and then you can copy, and that's it.
And
That's the best way to do it.
you
That's-
just can't vote on anything that you weren't here for the start of the discussion on.
Okay.
So you can't step into a hearing, but you could pick up in the
So
next
I
one.
could, yeah, I'd be here by like 7 probably at the latest, you know? And I could be here at 6:30, I just wouldn't be able to tell you
Depends on the
definitively. Yeah. Depends how busy it is, what's going on. you know?
Yeah.
Okay. As long as,
And
yeah.
I'll have Stephanie look again if there's any way we can change those to Wednesday. You can vote on it with that modification, that if we can
Okay.
change them to Wednesdays.
All right.
If they stay Thursday, we'll know that we may or may not see you.
Can I make a motion then?
Sure.
I move to accept the 2026 Harwich Board of Health meeting dates and filing deadlines with the possibility of changing January 22nd and February 19th, both on Thursdays, to January 21st and February 18th respectively, if we can.
Second.
Vote?
Aye.
Aye. Carrie, you're up.
Okay.
You're up.
So we are working across the region with our neighboring towns, Brewster, Chatham, Dennis, and Orleans, to hear from our community members on how to put the opioid remediation funds to the best use. We will be hosting listening sessions starting this week. Listening sessions will be hybrid forum. They will start tomorrow, November 19th, from 12 to 1:30 at the Orleans Town Hall. Wednesday, November 19th, 6 to 7:30 at the Chatham Community Center. Thursday, November 20th, 10 to 11:30 at the Harwich Cultural Arts Municipal Building. Thursday, November 20th, from 3 to 4:30 at the Brewster Town Hall. And Friday, November 21st, from 10 to 11:30 at the Dennis Town Hall. There is also on the flyers, I've got some printed in the back, there's a Zoom link, and that Zoom link is good for any of the 5 meetings. You do not have to be a resident of any of those towns to attend the town meeting, so if it works better for your schedule and you want to attend, give your input on those opioid remediation funding expenditures. We'd be happy to hear from you. For those of you who can't attend at all, we have a hard copy survey or a QR link to a survey. We still want to hear from people. If you get a hard copy, you want to drop it off to our department before December 12th. We also have a stakeholders meeting that will be December 19th, and that will be all virtual.
So you don't need to be a resident of the towns to be involved in this discussion, because I saw this. I have a very dear friend of mine, lives in Vermont, but this is like her life's work. Very close to home for her. And I know she would have a lot of great input and I'm sure if I mentioned that she could come by Zoom, that she would
Yeah.
put her face on camera for
Yeah,
us.
I'll give you a flyer. Any of the 5 meetings. We're not taking names, we're not asking people where they live. We're trying to make the setting as comfortable for people to come out and talk about their either lived or living experiences, whether it be their own personal experiences or a loved one that they've had to deal with. We want to hear where the gaps are in the help. So
Awesome.
that's the update.
All right. Thank you, Carrie. Moving on to permits. New licenses are listed below. There is not too many of them. There's just 6 here. Any questions, comments from the board on any of these permits listed?
No.
Jan? Nope. No? Any motion from the board?
I make a motion that we accept the permits as listed on the permits list.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Vote?
Aye.
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 All right.
Motion to adjourn?
Seconded.
That was quick.
Vote?
So,
We-
CVS? Really? Yeah.
Did we vote on
We have
that?
a vote to adjourn?
Vote to adjourn? Do we have a vote? I know, we haven't voted quite yet. Vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right.